natural solutions to money, relationships, wellness, and more. Shine a light onto your day and into your life. Power Your Life with Dr. Joanne White.
Welcome to Power Your Life. I'm Joanne White, your host. What's the scoop about vitamins? Is taking too many supplements dangerous to your health? My first guest is here to answer this question and much more. Halli Rich is the founder of Rich Vitamins, and she's the third generation in her family in the vitamin industry. Halli's here to talk about the myths that are surrounding dietary supplements. Welcome, Halli.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure for you to be here. So you brought us some gifts, which I love, but we'll get into that because you have been in this vitamin industry. You kind of grew up with it, with your grandmother and your father actually being part of it, and you grew up in the ranks. And there was a deep, dark secret that you kind of kept. Well, I guess your father and your grandmother knew that, right? But so tell us the secret.
So I was basically the shoemaker's daughter who had no shoes. I was the pill maker's daughter who couldn't swallow pills. So it was kind of a closely held secret that I couldn't swallow pills. So even though I passionately believe in the power of proper supplementation, I couldn't take any of the vitamins that our family manufactured because I couldn't take them due to the form that they were in pills and capsules.
So then you actually, when your dad passed, you came up, you created your own company, and you really did something very innovative. Thank you, because it didn't only help you, it helped other people. And I know how difficult it is to swallow pills. So you came up with something called Alternativites, right? And we'll talk about this in a little bit because this is for kids, and
Yes.
not just kids, adults.
Absolutely.
So what does that do, Halli?
So basically, I knew that I couldn't take vitamins because of the pill form that they were in, because I have difficulty swallowing pills. And actually, just like you also, 100 million Americans have difficulty swallowing pills. So while 1 out of every 2 Americans takes the vitamins, what about the other 1 person, who can't take them because of the form? Or there might be other reasons. They're not convenient to take, they don't fit into their lifestyle, they're looking for something gluten-free or vegetarian. So it really took the time to kind of develop that formula that really eliminated excuses as to why people don't take their vitamins. And for me personally, just like yourself, I know as we've spoken, there is definitely an audience out there for a powdered vitamin that you don't have to take via pill, because it does get kind of hard to choke back those vitamin horse pills.
So this is something, it's not just for kids, because we were talking, but it melts in your mouth. It says it has a great taste. It's gluten-free. It has 0 grams of sugar and no artificial ingredients, so it's very natural. And you said you can put it in anything, right? Hot, cold, what else can you do with it?
You can do absolutely everything but cook with it, because heat ruins the integrity of nutrients. But other than that, you can take it like a mouth like you would a pixie stick when you were younger by pouring it on your tongue where it melts. Or you can mix it into yogurts, smoothies, shakes, puddings. You can use it as a topping for frozen yogurts or your cereal. You can dip it into fruits. So we really wanted to make something that was really versatile, because what's the number 1 reason sometimes people don't take vitamins? They forget.
Right.
So we wanted to make something that was convenient and that fit into your lifestyle and not the other way around.
And also for kids would love something like this, because like you said, you could put it in their drinks and it's not, oh mom, I don't want to take that pill, right, all that stuff.
Exactly. One of my proudest moments was from a mom who emailed me saying that her kid reminds her every morning it's time to take their vitamins. So to me, that was like a home run. If kids are reminding their parents it's time to take their vitamins, we did something right.
Right, you did, and it's great. So let's talk about this for a minute, because there's research that says taking supplements doesn't do anything. Is that true? I mean, it doesn't help? What's the scoop on that?
I don't believe that that's true. I think that some of the studies that came out are flawed. For example, one of the recent studies that came out about multivitamins, the compliance was an issue. People only took their vitamins 2/3 of the time. So of course it's not going to help the way that you would intend it to help. So I think a lot of these studies that are out there, unfortunately only 1 or 2 points get picked up about the study and not the study in its entirety. If you're not compliant with something and you're not taking it as directed, it's a problem. I think the other thing is that some of these studies purport things that we don't claim to be in the first place. For example, vitamins, cause, vitamins fixing cancer and really helping with that, or vitamins can't do that. On every vitamin box you'll look at, they'll say that vitamins can't cure, treat, prevent, or diagnose any disease. So they're saying something that's not true. For example, it'd be like saying your heart vitamin's not going to help you lift better in the gym, or your
Right.
cantaloupe's not going to raise your vitamin D levels. It's, kind of going after something that people don't claim in the first place. So it's really being like a false negative.
But you also had said to me that the vitamin industry is really heavily regulated. So you have to make sure that what the ingredients in it, firstly, are accurate, and secondly, that you're not doing something that you're purporting to do.
Absolutely. FDA and the FTC do regulate the vitamin industry, despite what people say. And I always like to say it's kind of like the cop riding in the car behind you.
Right.
You know they're there. You pay a little bit more attention to details. You look at your speedometer to make sure you're going the speed limit. And that's really the way that the vitamin industry operates. At any time, the FDA or the FTC can come into your facility. They can go through any of your papers. They can test anything they want unannounced, completely unannounced. So it really is like having that someone watching over your shoulder. So we are very heavily regulated, and there are specific laws and regulations in which we all have to comply with.
And that's important because, like anything else, there's confidence when you have to be on your toes because somebody may come in and really take a look at what you're doing. Are vitamins really absorbed? I read something that the vitamins that you're taking are not absorbed in your system, so why bother? Is that true?
I haven't seen any research to support that. I mean, your cells need vitamins and minerals to function properly. So, ideally it should come from food, but we all know that we don't eat the way that we should, or that we prefer to, or that we want to, whether it's because it's more expensive, whether it's because of time, whether it's just, even the soil being, depleted, so fruits and vegetables aren't what they used to be. So vitamins are a great insurance policy to make sure that we get the support that we need for those times. But in terms of absorption, your body knows what it needs, and it needs vitamins and minerals. So whether it comes from food or supplements, your body knows how to produce that and manufacture it.
And it's important to make sure that your body's getting what it needs.
Absolutely. On a cellular level, your vitamins and minerals are most important. And what's the number one thing that depletes your vitamins and minerals? Stress. So for us, it's really important that you have enough of those to get through your days, whether it's environmental stress, physical stress, emotional stress. You really want to make sure you fuel your body with the nutrients that it needs.
And Americans go through a heck of a lot of stress, so they need their vitamins. And I remember that my doctor, after I had blood work, said, you're deficient in vitamin D. So vitamins are really a great support. Halli, thank you so much. You're full of wonderful information and great Alternativites, sorry about that. Are you afraid of your child going through a summer brain drain? Stay with us for expert advice on how to make the most of your children's summer and to keep their brains really challenged. Sorry about that. Welcome back. School's out and so are your kids. Here with expert advice on how to make the most of your child's summer and to keep their brains fully charged is the author of Color My World, self-esteem and parenting coach, Debbie Mancini, AKA Mama Deb. Welcome, Debbie. How are you?
Thank you, Joanne. I'm just great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully.
Good.
You have done so much, and we're going to feature you on Power Your Life many times. You're going to come on with a lot of little tips that are really important for families, for kids. What's the Mama Deb piece? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, the adage, it takes a village, and it does. It takes a village to raise a child, and I truly believe that every mom, dad, grandparent, and caregiver out there needs a mama of their own, a go-to mom, and that's who Mama Deb is.
So you're going to be with us giving Mama Deb tips. And since we were talking about it, give us some ideas of what's ahead, not today especially, but what's ahead in the coming months featuring Mama Deb.
Well, you talked about how summer's out, or summer is here, school's out. So we're going to take you from the school mode to the fun summer mode, what to do, how to make the most of the time you spend with your children without having to find the time or spend a dime. And then we take you right back into getting the brains ready for the school season. So we'll do a lot in between there with various age ranges.
And it's really important to a lot of people right now to have summer fun, even winter fun, whatever it is seasonally, without spending a lot of money. So that's very important. I have a question because it is summertime and oftentimes kids and parents alike when they're on vacation are in play mode and we want them to be in play mode. But at the same time, how do we keep their brains alert and functional? Is there a way to sort of complement both or include both of them together so that they're learning and having fun simultaneously?
Oh, there are so many ways to do it. We can make lessons out of just about anything we do during the course of a day with our kids. And as you said, we're going to show some video clips throughout the summer with ways to do that, specific ways. But just for instance, going for a walk in the park with your kids. Take your cell phone. I know I love to say leave your cell phone at home, but take your cell phone for the sake of the camera that's on it, and photograph a rock that you found, a specific leaf that you found. And then when you get back home again, go online and Google some of these things and see what are they? Where do they come from? Could this be a fossil? What tree did this leaf fall from? And turn it into a learning experience aside from just a walk. So now what you've done is you've taken a stroll in the park with your child. There's one special magic moment. The next magic moment comes when you get home and spend that time in front of the computer researching. And then again, later on, reliving that.
That's a great idea, because not only is it experiential, and a lot of kids learn experientially, but it's that family time that's so important, and it's a learning experience. And afterwards, you say, after they do the research, and it's more exciting because they discovered it and they have pictures of it, they can actually draw it or write about it, and so it incorporates so many different kinds of learning skills.
It does. Just don't stop there. People go for a walk and they stop there. Do more. Make that one experience many.
I agree. Not only that, I'm thinking, I've been to the park, or I've seen parents in the playground, and they're on their cell phones, and they're not using those moments that you're talking about, Mama Deb, to really get their kids engaged and learn and have fun, and to really connect with their kids on a really important level.
It is an important level, and you are so right about that. Look, we all need to be wired in our businesses.
Right.
We have those phones with us all the time for a reason. Great, that's awesome, but you have to also have control of that. We are teaching our children by example. They're watching, they're listening, they're paying attention, and they are mimicking us. So we need to know that when we are constantly on our phone and ignoring them, that's what we're going to get back. So when we're yelling at them, put the video game down, put your phone down, pay attention to why they're doing that.
Well, they're thinking, well, Mom, Dad, look at what you did when we were out in the park, or when we were at Aunt Harriet's house, or whatever, right?
That's right. And you know what? There are those moments, especially when my children were little, and I had to take that phone call, but they knew we're going to go for a walk, we're going to do whatever it is we're going to do, but I may get an important phone call, and then I would make them part of that phone call. When I would hang up, I would explain to them what I was trying to help a client work through. How would you handle that? Now that, again, it brings them into focus. They're not being shoved aside. They're being included in the other important aspect of life. But also, I have to tell you this, I learned so much from them. Their little innocent minds have some great ideas, and I've implemented some of them.
So they've helped you in your business, plus you've helped them feel valued rather than devalued or ignored, which is really important.
And now they're part of my business. They're adults, so they're part of that business, so it's all good.
Now, give us one more tip, quick tip, because we're almost out of time, for the summer in terms of having fun and learning at the same time.
Certainly. One thing I like to do is make an example of myself. Make myself the scapegoat or the funny dummy. Do something with your children that you might not be so comfortable at. One thing that I did recently, and you know me, Dr. Joanne, I am not an illustrator in any other form other than the spoken word or the written word. I took a painting class recently, made a bit of a fool of myself, but the finished product I actually like. So the example there was doing something with people that I love and cherish and making that a fun moment. And also, by the way, I just taught you how to step outside your comfort zone for the sake of an experience.
What a great idea. Thanks so much, Mama Deb. See you soon.
Thank you.
We know yoga is a great exercise for your body, but what about its effect on your mind? Ahead, we'll talk with Maggie LaFontant, a holistic energy counselor, about the psychological benefits of yoga, so stay tuned. are back. Studies are showing that the practice of yoga reduces anxiety and depression in female trauma survivors. And my next guest had traumatic experiences throughout her lifetime. She found yoga to be a powerful healing source. Maggie LaFontant is an energy counselor and is here with us now. Hello, Maggie. How are you?
Hello, and thank you for having me.
It is my pleasure. I want to go to something that I think is really fascinating because not only did you have these traumatic experiences, you have what I think is a miracle, right?
Yeah.
And that was what happened at 13. And it was something that happened when you were in the water. So tell us about it.
Yeah. Okay, I was swimming in a lake, and I was a pretty good swimmer at 13. But what happened was I started to drown. And I actually started to sink down and sink down and sink down. And I started to swallow the water. And
Scary.
and I was actually drowning. But what happened was there was a dock, but I couldn't reach it.
You were too far away.
It was too far away.
Right.
It was too far away. But there was a light that surrounded me and started to pull me up.
So did you see the light? Did you feel the light?
I felt the light and I saw the light, and it was kind of an angelic sort of experience. And I knew that it wasn't my time to die yet. I could feel it. So the light started to bring me up, and then there was a little boy that was on a floating dock.
Right.
And he was probably about 7 years old, and he reached his hand down, but I still couldn't reach it, and this light was just bringing me up and bringing me up and bringing me up.
To reach his hand.
To reach his hand. And I finally reached his hand, but he still couldn't pull me up because I was 13. And
Right,
he was,
and he was so
yeah,
little.
he was
and
little,
dead.
yeah. But so finally he pulled me up on the dock, and then I'm, coughing up water and the whole thing, and I was just kind of in shock at the whole thing. And he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I didn't save you because I'm too little."
Oh, he said that.
He said that.
That's amazing because you
Yeah.
would have known that, but he knew that too. But so he was part of that experience,
He
that
was-
wonderful experience.
Yeah. And it was just, I said, "Oh my goodness, I think that must have been an angel or something," because I certainly couldn't bring myself up, and he was too young to bring myself
Right.
up.
You've had lots of experiences like that, even one when you were 5 years old,
Yeah.
and you saw your father's deceased wife in the house. So
Right.
so you've actually moved on and really have studied that. You have all these gifts in terms of precognition, and you're going on to do that with energy psychology.
Right.
What have you done with yoga? Because it seems that yoga is wonderful, and most people do think, well, this is just do the hatha postures, and you're great, and the breathing.
Right.
But you're doing research for your
Yes.
your doctorate.
Yes, I'm doing research for my PhD in health
Right.
psychology, and my research focuses on female trauma survivors.
Wow. So what are you finding?
Well, what I'm finding is when someone experiences trauma, there's a disconnect between the mind and the body. And yoga helps to reconnect the body and the mind and the emotions. So it helps them reconnect.
And it's also a great form of stress release too.
Yes.
How does that work in the mind and the brain?
Yes, well, the research that I've done shows that yoga actually not only works in the muscles, but it reaches the brain and it lowers the cortisol stress hormone level.
So when it lowers the level, we're feeling
Relaxed.
okay.
Relaxed and calm, and you can handle any kind of stress that happens throughout your day much better when your cortisol levels are low. So for example, if you do yoga in the morning, then your body's relaxed, the tension's relaxed from your body, your emotions are relaxed, cortisol hormone levels are down, so whatever happens during your day, during work or school or whatever you're doing, you're going to be so much better able to cope with that.
So you can handle all that. And people think, I don't have time for this, right? But even if they did a little bit,
Even a little bit,
10 minutes?
10 minutes, 15 minutes, and likewise, if you choose to do yoga at night, you'll probably sleep a lot better too.
so it won't keep you buzzed and up and anything like that?
No, not if you do a low energy one. If you do a very fast vinyasa, that kind of 90-minute, it might take you an hour or so to calm down before you can really settle down and sleep.
What else has yoga been found to do?
Yoga has found to reduce blood pressure, diabetes.
Diabetes?
Oh yeah, it could lower your sugar levels. It does so many different
How
things.
does it do that? Again, with the
The sugar
stress?
levels, it will balance out your sugar levels in the body.
This research is incredibly important, and
Yes.
I guess for many years people were thinking something different, but now it's an entire holistic approach, which is everything that you, Maggie LaFontant, are about.
Yeah. And even in terms of, I use it in combination with my Reiki practice too, because I'm a Reiki master.
Right.
So I help people to incorporate yoga and Reiki together to help them with mind-body holistic spiritual healing.
And everything about that whole mind-body connection is very, very important. Thank you so much. You are a gift.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Power Your Life will be right back. Right ahead, find out what's hot for next week. Do you suffer from poor communication? And do you know that poor communication is really a major cause of breakups and can cause so many problems and disconnects among family members and friends? It seems so simple to just communicate with another person, especially someone that we really, really care about. But it's a challenge, and one that you can master. Good communication means really being engaged with the person through eye contact, welcoming body language, and really true active listening. When you're surfing the net or you're checking text messages, it doesn't really give your partner or your friend a warm, fuzzy feeling about the interaction that you're having. It's really just the opposite. So try this tip. Next time you're talking to someone, gaze into one eye and then the other, going back and forth. Not only does it seem to make your eyes sparkle, which is great, it expresses interest, making the person feel special and valued. And who doesn't want that? Thanks for being with us tonight. Are you worried about piling on credit card debt with no relief in sight? Or does the thought of identity theft keep you awake at night? Next week, we'll have answers to these pressing challenges and more. Remember that you have the power to power your dreams and power your life.